Spider Pig, Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. I'm gonna have to get me a Spider Pig t-shirt made. Y'all know TWP though, aka the Spider Pig. Shouts out to my anime and entertainment channel, because that's what we're doing over here these days. Yeah, that's what we do. We does that. Shouts out to Doesn't It. But today we're gonna get right back into it. This is what I was watching last night. Today is August 20th, and as y'all know, on the 20th of every month, the new Dragon Ball manga come out. Shouts out to the Dragon Ball manga, because guess what? We're gonna go ahead and do the review right now. I ain't gonna watch the video without watching it with y'all, right? So let's get right back to it.
You're watching Unrelenting Gaming. This is Beerus, the god of destruction. Make sure you subscribe to Unrelenting Gaming and push the like button for me, or else I'll Hakai you from existence. Oh, and to make sure to watch the entire video all the way through. And follow Unrelenting Gaming on both Instagram and Twitter. Please, enough. On to the video.
So with Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 96 now officially in the history books, the stage is now set for our heroes to make a comeback against the Gammas, with Orange Piccolo being shown having to be revealed for the very first time, which will ultimately now lead up to the continued battle involving both Piccolo and Gamma 2. However, with Cell Max's activation now imminent, this only goes as far as to now beg the million-dollar question on if whether or not we're bound to see Cell Max be stronger in the manga adaptation versus that of the film, and how far along the lines are we bound to see Cell Max battle against our heroes before the inevitable arrival of Gohan Beast. As a quick reminder before we go deeper into this video, if you just so happen to be new to the channel and have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball and anime related, then I do encourage you guys to go on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single video posted on the channel, as well as giving this video a big fat thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you simply enjoy the content being shown within the Dragon Ball Super manga and are excited to see what the overall direction of Dragon Ball Super is going to be going forward. And if you would like to learn more and catch up on the previous Dragon Ball Super manga chapters, then be sure to go ahead and click down below in the description box in checking out the official Dragon Ball Super manga.
Yeah, y'all already know Unrelent got the best reviews besides mine, because I'm coming up artist in the game. You know what I'm saying? I give flowers where flowers is due, because y'all see who we fuck with. But anyways, shouts out to our dude Danny. Danny was live this morning too when I first got up, but Danny was live. Y'all know Danny over there. Shouts out to him. I ain't gonna call him by his other name. Geekdom, aka Big D. I don't do all that, Danny. We gonna call you by your government. Yeah, but Geekdom, shouts out to Geekdom, because that's my other Dragon Ball content channel too. Him and Old Pie Senpai, they always be doing their lives together. You probably had Old Pie on there after I left, but I stopped by there this morning too. So shouts out to Geekdom and all the Dragon Ball review channels, because it's all love and hair grease out here with us. Since they got it up for us, we gonna watch it and review it.
The playlist, to where not only would you be able to catch up on all of the previous manga chapters that you guys may have missed, but you could also check out some of the previous moments that have unfolded and which had brought us to this very moment in time. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for your time, thank you all so much for your support, and now let's dive straight into the video. As we kick off Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 96, back at Capsule Corp with Trunks being shown having to speak with his mother Bulma, to which upon Trunks now having to look flabbergasted by what he was overhearing, it was only as Trunks was shown having this conversation where Trunks went on to then respond, "Androids? Did that Hedo guy make them?" With Bulma then asking, "Why do you even know about that?" With Trunks then responding, well, cause we've fought some of his androids before, so these must be different ones though. Anyways, Piccolo is in big trouble and he's alone. The ones that we ran into the other times were pretty strong, with Bulma then asking, "Why did you keep this a secret?" With Trunks responding, "Mom, you already forbid me from any more hero stuff, and so it's not like you'd even listen to anything that we have to say." "Oh, well then that one is on me," Bulma responds. "If I had only known that maybe we could have prevented all of this." To which moments later, the moment Trunks was able to now spot Goten in the sky was when Trunks then went on to shout, "Hey, Goten! Oh, how's it going, Trunks?" "Oh, hiya, ma'am. We're just gonna go do some homework together." With Bulma then shouting, "Oh, you two are no longer grounded. This situation is dire, so let's get on out there and help Piccolo, okay? So now go and show them what you're made of," Bulma shouts, with Trunks then responding, "Oh, heck yeah! Got it, Goten. Here's our chance to be the great Saiyaman again." "Oh, wait, why?" Goten went on to then ask. "Well, word is that Hedo got out of the slammer and teamed up with some Red Ribbon Army guys." "Whoa, no way," Goten responds. "Let's go. Time to get going," Bulma then went on to shout. "Give me Piccolo's location already." His...
So that's good though, because they are going deeper into the back shots with Bulma. Shouts out to the back shots with Bulma. Look at Bulma. She looking all thick. Look at her. She over there, cheeks out.
Location? Just Piccolo's key. That way, I think. "No," Goten went on to chime in. "It's this way." "Oh, well, maybe it could also be in that direction over there." "Wait, no, wait, that's Dende." "Oh, you two, I swear," Bulma went on to respond. "Really stepping it up when it counts, huh?" "Oh, forget it. Now I'll just call him and ask," Bulma then went on to respond. "Now let's see if he picks up." To which even then, in the meantime, as we then make our way back on over in seeing the birth of Orange Piccolo for the very first time within the mainline series outside of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, Orange Piccolo's transformation was so impactful upon its debut that everyone who was there had stopped what they were doing only to simply gaze upon what they were now having to see, with Piccolo being shown having to step on down. The stage was now seemingly set for Orange Piccolo to be shown having to re-engage against Gamma 2, the same individual that was shown having to get the better of Piccolo, but this time around things were looking as though they were about to be very different, as we finally now meet Orange Piccolo and having to stand before Gamma 2 for the very first time after being shown having to ascend in shattering past all of his previous limitations. This was only now beginning to become a very big problem for the Gammas prior to having to engage. However, it was only then when having to make our way back on over to Bulma's was when Bulma was shown having to comment, "Nope, he's not picking up," with Trunks responding, "Actually, Kuririn might know where the secret base is since he was put on that case," with Bulma then responding, "Well, let's just have him join us then. And 18 would also be a good help to have on board too." But even then, Gamma 2 was not having it, because even despite with Piccolo being shown having to obtain a new godly transformation, what Gamma 2 ends up trying to do instead is still go after Orange Piccolo, even despite knowing the fact that Piccolo is much stronger than even how Gamma 2 is. But with his best efforts now being shown in vain, despite having to be shown punching Piccolo directly in the abdominal section, by no means was this any sort of effective move that had left Piccolo damaged whatsoever, because as Gamma 2 was looking up in absolute horror with Piccolo being shown looking back down in not being shown having to be affected by Gamma 2's punch whatsoever, it was only prior to Gamma 2 being shown backing on up before attacking again, where none of Gamma 2's attacks were shown having to have any sort of effect on Piccolo whatsoever, even despite with Gamma 2 trying to do his best to do so. You can see when having to take a closer look at Gamma 2's face that Gamma 2 was really trying to damage Piccolo, only to from that point then be shown having to stand there in enduring and tanking each and every single one of Gamma 2's punches. That is, of course, before Orange Piccolo had now decided to retaliate by punching Gamma 2 in the face, to which as Piccolo was now shown having to do so, the sheer force behind Piccolo's punch alone was so effective enough in dropping Gamma 2 completely that it almost had now looked as though the fight between them had now quickly come to a close just before it even started to begin with, because with both Magenta and Carmine looking on in absolute disbelief as Gamma 2 was shown having to lay there, that was when Piccolo went on to then respond, "Well, Shenron wasn't kidding about that bit extra, huh?" "How?" Dr. Hedo went on to then quickly ask. "Oh, you moots just gonna stand around there?" Magenta shouts, "Fire! Fill him full of lead!" dead. But of course, similar to that of the film, traditional bullets and guns weren't going to do anything to Piccolo to begin with, so with Piccolo being shown having to just stand there casually and taking all of the shots that were being fired upon him, that was when from within that very moment, Pan was now shown setting herself free and immediately going after the attack by attacking the soldiers below, in which, similar to that of the film with Pan being shown having to clear house before having to come face to face with Carmine, was when Carmine by no means was even going to go as far as to spare a child by being shown firing down upon her, until it was only with Gamma 2 being shown stepping in the way by firing off and having to shoot away Carmine's gun was when Gamma 2 then went on to respond, "Well, that settles it. I can tell which side fights for evil," to which upon Pan now being shown...
See, that's the bad thing about these new androids. Shouts out to the android users. Y'all know we out here droided up, but anyways. It was like, these are the bad guys, because that's what the bad thing about these androids is. They damn near aware, so they're like people. They thought they was working for some good people, but they bad.
Having to re-emerge, Pan from that point was not shown having to waste a single solitary second by from there being shown knocking Carmine out, which had only now subsided the battles that were now taking place as both parties had now come to a mutual understanding in realizing the situation at hand. It was just as Piccolo went on to address the overall situation where Piccolo then went on to respond, "Good enough, Gohan, you can quit fighting." Wait, what's going on, Gohan questions. "Well, it seems like there was a misunderstanding on both sides," Piccolo responds, to which even then, in the meantime, similar to that of the events that have transpired within the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, after having to now realize that the jig was up moments after having to see Piccolo and Gohan now actually come to reason with both Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, what the Red Ribbon leader Magenta ends up trying to do is quickly go and do whatever he could to activate Cell Max, since he knows that it's pretty much over and done with the Gammas, only for Dr. Hedo to be shown having to try and stop him, as the two are now locked in a very intense battle against one another, with one guy being shown having to try and do his absolute best to awaken the sleeping monster within upon the world while the other was trying to stop him. Their struggle ultimately leads to Magenta firing up all possible measures that he could in order to finally extract his revenge and put an end to our heroes for good, but this was by no means going to be an easy effort being shown by Magenta and having to pull off successfully without Dr. Hedo being shown standing in his way, because with Dr. Hedo revealing a few secrets of his own, including weaponizing Hachimaru against Magenta, it was just then similar to that of the events of the movie, as with one fatal sting to the neck followed by a couple of dance moves later, everyone's worst possible nightmare was about to come true, because as soon as Magenta had died after being shown smashing down on any and all possible buttons that he could, the entirety of the overall situation now had become so unstable and so uncontrollable even for Dr. Hedo that Cell Max's chamber was just about to explode, with Cell Max being shown having to burst on out, in which prior to this, as we only then make our way back on over onto the surface and seeing how the rest of the gang had arrived onto the battlefield, as with everyone shown having to try and do their very best and understanding what was taking place moments prior, it was only as Goten and Trunks were now shown stepping on down was when Goten then went on to respond, "Oh, Gohan, well, it's not every day that you join a fight," with Gohan being shown very irritated by responding, "Ugh, that voice, is that you, Goten? Hey, where are your glasses?" Daddy Pan went on to ask. "Well, I tossed them aside earlier," Gohan responds. "Well, I've brought some stellar backup for you guys," Bulma went on to chime in, "and of course, one less reliable cop." "Oh hey, believe it or not," Krillin responds, "the police have been trying to thwart the Red Ribbon Army's ambitions as best as they could right now, so it looks like Piccolo had just beat us to the punch in finding their secret base though." "Aw, and now look who's here. How are you, Pan?" Bulma then went on to question. "And I suppose that those are the new androids?" 18 went on to question. "Whoa, they look so cool," Goten went on to respond. "Yeah. Hey, do you guys have any names?" "We're the Gammas," Gamma 1 responds. "Whoa, and so are you guys friends or foes?" With Piccolo then responding, "Wait, are those two really..." "Yeah," Pan responds, "that's Trunks and Goten." "Wow, they shot up like weeds since the last time I saw them," Piccolo responds. "Well, we Saiyans tend to remain short until we hit our growth spurt after all," Gohan responds. "Hey, so what's the stitch, Gohan? Weren't you just fighting them?" With Gohan responding, "Excuse me?" "Whoa, it's you, Krillin. Sorry about that. My eyes are just awful without my glasses." "Wait, but your eyesight improves when you transform?" Piccolo questions. I guess so." "Well, you see, I lost to Piccolo after he turned orange," Gamma 2 went on to address Trunks by telling him. "Wait, orange?" Trunks asks. "Is that a new transformation, Piccolo?" "Wait, what's that now?" Piccolo asks. "Yeah," Gohan responds. "You turned orange earlier when your ki just skyrocketed." "Well, Well, I didn't realize, Piccolo responds. I must have just had an awakening of sorts like you. Yeah, and it was the coolest, Piccolo, Pan responds. So you'll have to come up with a name like Super Saiyan. A name, Piccolo responds. Must I? Ugh, fine. Let's just go with Orange, Piccolo. Oh, wow. Okay, everyone else responds. But just when our heroes had now assumed the position of there having to finally be peace among them was when they were now moments away from their worst nightmare and having to come true, with a gigantic explosion now being shown taking place behind Gohan, because in the distance flying up towards the sky was one half of Cell Max's containment chamber, to which, with everyone now being left baffled as to what this was, we then make our way over back to Dr. Hedo, with Dr. Hedo being shown absolutely horrified by what he was about to see, because it was only seconds after the fact, with two gigantic hands being shown clambering on down and slowly being shown having to hoist themselves up, Dr. Hedo was left mortified as to what he was about to see, as of course Cell Max was an incomplete project that he was looking to finish, unbeknownst to Magenta having to now set him free, because with Cell Max now having to be shown finally revealing himself in letting out a ferocious and powerful roar, this scream in and of itself was so loud that it only prompted for everyone to cover their ears, as they did not know as to what was going on beneath them until, in an effort of trying to preserve his life, as Dr. Hedo was now shown emerging from the ground below, was when Dr. Hedo then went on to shout, he's Cell Max! He's activated! He is, the Gammas both went on to then question, and boy was this a reason for everyone to panic, because upon Dr. Hedo being shown having to do his best in trying to escape, was when from out of nowhere behind him, that was when we finally got to see Cell Max having to now finally make his presence known, with everyone else that included Android 18, Krillin, Piccolo, and Gohan being left baffled, especially after having to see the very face that they had fought many years ago. This had only now become a very dangerous situation for all parties there, because it was only just after Cell Max was shown having to emerge from the ground below was when Cell Max had now powered up in such a way that the sheer force behind the energy that he was letting off had now caught Dr. Hedo in a massive explosion before everyone's eyes, which had also gone as far as to send out shockwaves that had rattled everybody on the battlefield, including Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, because even with the Gammas now understanding the gravity of the situation and having to now have no other choice but to engage with Cell Max, was when both of the Gammas had only presumed that Dr. Hedo was destroyed in this initial explosion upon having to see Dr. Hedo presumably be destroyed by Cell Max's energy blast. It was only seconds later behind the smoke was when Cell Max was shown having to do his best in trying to grab onto both Gammas, but as with the Gammas being shown having to be quick enough in escaping Cell Max's clutch, with both Gammas now preparing for battle, by no means were Gamma 1 or Gamma 2 going to back down from such a foe, even though they were inferior to Cell Max. What both Gammas ended up trying to do in the name of Dr. Hedo, their creator, was try and engage against Cell Max anyway, to which, as they ended up doing, the Gammas both tried to do their best in utilizing their weapons, in synchronizing their movements, in attacking as one, but unfortunately enough, to both of their dismay, it didn't look as though any of their efforts were actually doing much to even slow Cell Max down to begin with, because rather than being hurt or overwhelmed by the overall situation, Cell Max did not seem as though he was fazed by any of this whatsoever, even despite with Gamma 1 being shown kicking Cell Max in the face. What Cell Max ended up doing as a response was simply swat away Gamma 1 like a fly, by having to then from that point be shown having to attack the others yet again. It had only now become clear as day that neither of the Gammas were going to be any sort of match against Cell Max, to which, as the others were looking on, that's when Piccolo then went on to shout, "Let's go too!" with Krillin responding, our whole investigation was meant to just prevent this, but it looks like we're in for a battle anyway, with Piccolo turning towards Gohan and responding, "Here, Gohan, is Senzu Bean," but similar to that of the film, Gohan was shown having to fumble this massive opportunity and having to lose the Senzu Bean upon having to try to grab it, with Piccolo then responding, Did you just drop it? Sorry, I just, no glasses, remember? Hey, you two were just fighting, right? Goten and Trunks then went on to chime in. Take a break, we can tackle this one. Ready, Goten? Oh yeah, it's been too long, Goten says. Transform! To which, unlike the film where we saw Goten and Trunks fuse, instead here we now have the re-emergence of both Saiyaman X1 and Saiyaman X2, as with both Goten and Trunks now ready to engage against Cell Max, was when the two went on to then respond, "Here to mop up evil and leaving the world cleaner than we found it. We are the cleanup heroes, Saiyaman X1 and Saiyaman X2 on the scene." And the only other person that wasn't cringing at this was, of course, none other than Pan, because with Pan being the only one to cheer them on, that was when Bulma went on to respond, "Oh, really now? Do they realize that this isn't playtime?" To which, as Goten and Trunks were now shown having to make their move, it was only right then and and there where Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 96 then comes to a close. Now, this is it. You can make no mistake about the fact that with Cell Max now having to be activated and going up against the Gammas, this only now goes as far as to confirm that with Gohan Beast now looming over the horizon as our heroes get ready to battle against Cell Max, that it looks as though our heroes are going to leave nothing on the table by having to go up against Cell Max given the fact of how strong he is, and it finally now looks as though we are going to be nearing the end of this entire arc as we move into something new relatively soon. So to that, I would like to go on ahead and get your thoughts about how you guys personally feel down in the comment section below when it pertains around 3 specific things, with that being question number 1. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being absolute trash and with 5 being phenomenal, what would you guys rank Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 96 on a scale of 1 to 5? Question number 2 is, do you guys believe that Cell Max may in fact possibly get a buff in making him that much stronger in the manga by comparison to that of the film? And lastly, question number 3 is, do you believe that there is going to be somewhat of an extended fight involving Beast Gohan and Cell Max, or do you believe that Toyotaro is going to keep the events surrounding Cell Max and Beast Gohan identical to that of the film, and that's just simply have Beast Gohan one-shot Cell Max and destroy him by the very end? Because not for nothing, the entire fandom seems to be fed up with this entire retelling, because for this to be retold in such a way, there have been so many fans that have been clamoring on to want to see something new instead of getting an entire retelling of the film. So to that, we can only expect for a brand new story arc to be confirmed sometime by the end of the year. So again, I cannot wait to see that go down, because a lot of us are hoping to see more of Black Frieza and perhaps even other events be told that's going to separate themselves from having to retell this entire film from start to finish. And so again, I do want to go on ahead and get your thoughts down below, as I do want to also thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you all so much for tuning in. To which, as always, if you also just so happen to be new to this channel and of course love Dragon Ball and anime, then I do encourage for you guys to head on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon, so that way you guys never miss a single video that is posted onto the channel, on top of making sure to give this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below. Tune back in for more. Thank you all so much for being here, and with all that being said, I'm going to be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, everybody, and have a great day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to Unrelent Gaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi.
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the...
So the good thing is they almost to the end of this damn movie. So what? Maybe by the end of the year they'll probably have that done and be on to the new storyline. So we'll see what's gonna happen with Black Frieza, Goku and his Ultra Instinct, Vegeta and Ultra Ego. Shouts out to them though. They'll be alright. Shouts out to my daughter, always calling me when I'm doing something too. Y'all see how it is being a dad out here in these streets. Yeah, but you know, that was our Super Sunday for this week. We had a Saturday and a Sunday video because, you know, like I said, the 20th of every month, unless they're taking the month off, you get the Dragon Ball Super manga. Shouts out to the manga because, you know, we're going to do those when they come out too. Just like Unreal got the video out today for us, we got a video right back out for y'all too.